My name is Garrett Thorne. I'm 36 years old, and I've been alone on this ranch for 4 winters. 4 winters since I buried my wife and daughter in the frozen ground behind the house. 4 winters without hearing another voice except my own, and the wind scraping across these Colorado hills. Tonight, that's about to change. It's past 9 in the evening, December 15th, 1882. The temperature's dropped below freezing, and the sky's that particular shade of black that tells you snow's coming hard and soon. I'm in the barn checking on the cattle when I hear it. Gunshots, 3 of them, sharp cracks echoing from the south ridge, maybe 2 miles off. I stop moving. My hand goes to the Winchester, leaning against the stall door. Out here, gunshots at night mean one of 2 things. Someone's hunting after dark, which is stupid and illegal, or someone's being hunted. The cattle shift nervously in their stalls. They can smell what I'm feeling. Fear, not mine. Something else's fear carried on the wind. I take the rifle and walk out into the yard. The moon's hidden behind clouds, but there's enough starlight to see the fence line, the equipment shed, the dark shape of my house with its single lit window. My bedroom, the room I haven't slept in for 3 years. I sleep in the chair by the stove now, where I can see both doors. Another sound reaches me. Closer this time, not gunshots. Hoofbeats. Multiple horses moving fast, heading away from my property toward the McCriedi spread to the south. I know those riders. Caleb McCriedi and his boys, the self-appointed law around here, they call themselves a militia. Everyone else calls them what they are, a gang of land thieves who hide behind patriotism and fear. I wait. The hoofbeats fade. Silence returns, thick and cold. That's when I see the blood. It's a trail, dark spots in the snow, leading from my southern fence toward the cattle barn. Fresh blood. Still liquid, not frozen yet. My grip tightens on the Winchester as I follow the trail. Whoever's bleeding came onto my property within the last hour. The barn door is slightly open. I left it shut. I raise the rifle to my shoulder and push the door wide with my boot. The hinges creak loud enough to wake the dead. Inside it, the darkness is complete except for thin strips of moonlight falling through the wall slats. The cattle are quiet now, but I can hear breathing. Human breathing. Multiple people trying to stay silent and failing. I don't announce myself. I just stand there in the doorway, letting my eyes adjust, letting them know I'm armed and waiting. A voice comes from the shadows, a woman's voice speaking in Apache. I understand every word because my mother was Mexican, and she learned Apache from a friend when she was young. She taught me before the fever took her when I was 12. The voice says this: "We are not asking permission. We are only informing you." I see them now. 5 shapes huddled in the corner behind the hay bales near where I stack winter feed. 5 women dressed in torn clothing and wrapped in thin blankets, and 1 small shape between them, a child. The woman who spoke stands up. She's shorter than me by half a foot, but she stands like she's taller, like she's used to being obeyed. Her hair is long and dark, pulled back from her face. Her dress is torn at the shoulder, and there's blood on her sleeve. Not her blood, someone else's. She has a revolver in her hand. Old, maybe 40 years old, the metal worn silver at the edges. She's not pointing it at me. She's holding it against her thigh, letting me see it, letting me know that if I make the wrong move, she'll use it. I could shoot her right now. The law would call it self-defense. A man alone finding armed intruders in his barn at night. No jury would convict me. Hell, most wouldn't even bring me to trial. But I don't shoot, because the child steps forward into a shaft of moonlight, and I see her face. She's maybe 8 years old. Dark eyes, round face, holding a wooden doll against her chest, like it's the only thing in the world that matters. She's shaking from cold or fear or both, and when she looks at me, I don't see a stranger. I see Lily, my daughter. 3 years old when the fever took her. Eyes just like that. Same way of holding her doll. Same look of absolute trust that someone bigger and stronger would keep her safe. I lower the rifle. The woman with the revolver watches me. Her eyes are steady, evaluating. She's waiting to see what kind of man I am, the kind who shoots first, or the kind who asks questions. I speak in Apache, badly, with my mother's Mexican accent, but clear enough. Who shot at you? The woman doesn't answer immediately. She glances at the others. One of them, taller and broader than the rest, says something quick and low. An argument. The standing woman shakes her head, a decision made. She answers me in English. Broken, heavily accented, but understandable. Men from south. McCriedi men. They burn our shelter. They kill one of us. We run. I process this. McCready's gang attack them. That tracks with what I know about Caleb McCriedi. He's been pushing Apache families out of the territory for 2 years now, claiming they're squatting on land that belongs to white settlers. Never mind that most of that land was Apache hunting ground for generations before any white man saw it. I ask the next question. Why did they attack you? The woman's jaw tightens. She doesn't want to answer, but she does. Because she knows I won't help them if I think they're lying. 2 weeks ago, 3 of his men come to our shelter. Drunk, they try to take one of us. We fight back. 2 of them die. There it is. The truth I needed. They killed 2 of McCready's men. Self-defense or murder, depending on who's telling the story. Out here, the one with the most guns gets to tell the story. I look at each of them in turn. 5 women, all between their mid-20s and mid-30s, all wearing the hard expressions of people who've survived things they shouldn't have had to survive, and 1 child who shouldn't have to be here at all. I make my decision. Bathrooms inside the house. Water's in the kitchen. Don't touch my bedroom. The woman with the revolver stares at me. She wasn't expecting this. She was expecting a fight or a refusal. Not help. Her grip on the gun loosened slightly. Why you help us? I don't have a good answer to that. Not one I can explain. So I just tell her the truth. Because I don't want that child to die in my barn. I turn and walk toward the house, not looking back to see if they follow. They will or they won't. Either way, I've made my choice. Behind me, I hear them moving. Quiet footsteps in snow. The child's smaller steps, faster. Trying to keep up, I reach the back door and hold it open. One by one, they file past me into the kitchen. The tall one, the fighter, keeps her eyes on me the whole time. She's got a knife tucked into her belt, and her hand stays near it. Smart. Trust has to be earned, not given. The woman with the revolver enters last. She pauses in the doorway, meeting my eyes. For the first time, I see something other than suspicion in her face, something that might be gratitude or might just be exhaustion. She speaks in Apache again, softer this time. We will not hurt you. I answer in English. I know. She frowns. You know? I gesture to the photograph on the kitchen wall. My wife, Elena, and my daughter, Lily, taken the summer before they died. Elena's smiling, holding Lily on her hip. Lily's laughing at something outside the frame. It's the last picture I have of them both alive. If you were going to hurt me, you wouldn't have brought the child. The woman looks at the photograph for a long moment. Then she looks at me, and I see understanding pass between us. We're both people who've lost everything and are trying to keep something, anything, safe. She nods once, an acknowledgement. My name is Anaya. Garrett. We stand there in my kitchen, 6 strangers and a child, surrounded by the smell of old coffee and wood smoke. Outside, the wind picks up. The first flakes of snow begin to fall. I show them where the water is, where the towels are. I don't offer them my bedroom. That room is locked, has been locked since Elena died. But there's the main room with the stove, and there are blankets in the chest by the door. One of the women, smaller than the others with gentle hands, approaches the tall one who's injured. There's a bullet wound in her shoulder just below the collarbone, clean through, which is lucky. The small woman starts to examine it, and I realize she's a healer of some kind. I fetch my medical kit, what little I have. Whiskey for cleaning, needle and thread for stitching, clean bandages. The healer takes them with a nod of thanks. While she works, I stand by the stove and watch. Not because I don't trust them, because I'm trying to understand what I've just done. I've taken in 5 Apache women and a child, all wanted for killing 2 white men. If McCriedi finds out they're here, he'll come with every man he has. And if the law finds out I'm hiding them, I'll hang alongside them. But when I look at the child, Sola, I'll learn her name, is later, curled up on the floor with her wooden doll, I know I'd make the same choice again. The woman called Anaya sits down near the stove, close enough to feel its heat, but not so close that she can't see the doors. She's still holding the revolver, though it's resting in her lap now instead of her hand. She watches me with those evaluating eyes. You live here alone, it's not a question, but I answer anyway. Yes, your wife. Dead. 4 years ago. Her and my daughter. Anaya glances at the photograph again. How? Diphtheria. It came through in the winter. I couldn't get them to town fast enough. The snow blocked the road. I don't tell her the rest. That I could have left before the snow came. That I chose to stay because I was worried about losing cattle to the cold. That I put animals before people, and it cost me everything. She seems to hear it anyway. She says very quietly, in Apache. Guilt is a heavy thing to carry. I look at her. She's staring into the fire now, not at me. I respond in the same language. What are you carrying? She doesn't answer right away. The healer finishes stitching the tall woman's shoulder and wraps it in clean bandages. The injured woman, Tyan, hisses through her teeth but doesn't cry out. Tough. They're all tough. Finally, Anaya speaks. My husband did not die of sickness. He died because I let him die. I wait, she continues. He was a drunk. He beat me for 5 years. One night he got sick. Fever. He asked for water. I gave him nothing. In the morning, he was dead. The other women aren't listening. They're busy settling in, making pallets on the floor, checking the windows. But I can tell they know this story. They've heard it before. I ask the question that matters. Do you regret it? Anaya finally looks at me. Her eyes are hard. Every day. Not because he died, because I didn't do it sooner. Because I let him hurt me that long. I understand her then. Really understand her. She's not running from the law because she's a criminal. She's running because the law was never going to protect her anyway. Out here, justice isn't blind. It sees color and gender and class, and it acts accordingly. I make a decision, one that will change everything, though I don't know it yet. You can stay. Through the winter. After that, we'll figure out what comes next. Anaya's eyes widen slightly. It's the most emotion I've seen from her. Why? Because 4 years ago, I made a choice that killed 2 people I loved. I'm not making that choice again. We sit in silence after that. The wind howls outside. The snow falls heavier now, already covering the blood trail from the barn. By morning, it will be like they were never there at all, except they are here. And everything is different now. I don't sleep that night. I sit in my usual chair by the stove, Winchester across my lap, and watch the 5 women and the child settle into an uneasy rest. They don't trust me enough to truly sleep either. The tall one, Kame, I learn later, positions herself near the door like a guard. Anaya sleeps light, her hand never far from the revolver. Only the child, Sola, sleeps deeply. Her mother, a quiet woman with a scar running down the right side of her face, holds her close. The woman's name is Nayeli. She hasn't spoken a word since they arrived. Dawn comes slow and gray. I'm up before the sun, building the fire higher, putting coffee on to boil. The smell wakes Anaya first. She sits up, instantly alert, hand going to her gun before she remembers where she is. I hand her a cup of coffee without speaking. She takes it, wraps both hands around the tin, and inhales the steam like it's medicine. The others wake gradually. I learn their names as the morning progresses. Kimi, the warrior, tall and strong as any man I've known. Isi, the healer, with gentle eyes and careful hands. Tyan, the injured one, who moves with pain but doesn't complain. Nayeli, the silent one with the scar and the daughter, and Anaya, their leader. None of them are young. They're all in their late 20s or 30s, which means they're survivors. Out here, in this life, making it past 25 as an Apache woman is an accomplishment. After coffee, I show them the rest of the house. It's not large. 3 rooms. The main room with the stove and table. A small bedroom that used to be for me and Elena, and Lily's room, which I haven't opened in 4 years. Anaya notices the locked door. What's in there? My daughter's room. It's locked. She doesn't push. She understands some doors need to stay closed. I take them outside to show them the property. 200 acres of rocky grazing land, a creek that runs year-round, the barn, the equipment shed, the smokehouse. 40 head of cattle, 15 goats, 3 horses, and a lot of work that one man can barely manage alone. Kimi walks the perimeter like she's scouting enemy territory. Her eyes miss nothing. The sight lines, the weak points in the fence, the places where someone could approach unseen. She's done this before, been hunted before. While we're outside, Isi examines Tyen's wound in better light. The stitches are holding, but there's inflammation starting. Infection. Isi needs yarrow root and honey to make a proper poultice, and I don't have either. I'll ride to town tomorrow, I tell her. Get what you need. Isi looks surprised. You would do that. I'm going anyway. Might as well get supplies that are actually useful. That afternoon, I teach them the basic layout of the ranch work. Kimi already knows how to handle livestock. Tyen and Nayeli know how to preserve food. Isi can identify medicinal plants even in winter. They're not helpless city women. They're survivors who know how to work. Only Anaya seems uncertain about what to do. She's a leader, not a laborer. But she watches everything, learning, filing information away. Around 3 in the afternoon, we see riders. Kim spots them first. She's near the southern fence, checking the cattle, when she goes still and stares at the horizon. I follow her gaze and see them. 3 riders, moving slow, coming from the direction of the McCriedi spread. Everyone moves without needing orders. Isi and Tyen take Sola into the house. Nayeli grabs a pitchfork from the shed. Kame pulls a knife from her boot. Anaya stands next to me, her revolver in her hand again. The riders get closer. I recognize the lead horse. A big roan gelding that belongs to Caleb McCriedi himself. Stay behind the house, I tell them. Don't show yourselves unless I call. Anaya hesitates. If they see us, they won't. Go. They disappear around the corner of the house. I walk out to the fence line, rifle held loose but ready. McCriedi and his 2 men stop about 20 feet away, close enough to talk, far enough that I have time to raise the rifle if I need to. Caleb McCriedi is 42 years old, broad across the shoulders, with a thick beard going gray at the edges. He owns the largest spread in the county, built on land he bought cheap from families he drove off. He wears a deputy's badge, though no legitimate law enforcement appointed him. He appointed himself. Garrett, he calls out. His voice is friendly, too friendly. Good to see you out and about. Caleb, what brings you up this way? Just checking on my neighbors. Making sure everyone's safe. He pauses, letting that sink in. You hear any gunshots last night? I heard something. Figured it was you and your boys hunting. McCriedi smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Hunting. Yeah, you could call it that. He looks past me toward the barn. You seen any Apache around here? I keep my face neutral. Why would there be Apache up here? Oh, you know. There's been some trouble down south. Some women killed 2 of my men. Stabbed one, beat another to death with a hammer. Can you believe that? Women. His tone makes it clear what he thinks of Apache women, or any women who fight back. I haven't seen anyone, I tell him. McCready's eyes move to the barn again. I can see him thinking. He knows something. Maybe he saw the blood trail before the snow covered it. Maybe one of his men spotted smoke from my chimney that shouldn't be there. Maybe he's just guessing. Mind if we take a look around, he says. Just to be sure. I do mind, actually. This is private property. Now, Garrett, don't be unfriendly. We're all trying to keep this territory safe. Safe for who, Caleb? The smile drops from his face. For law-abiding citizens. And who decides who's law-abiding? I do. We stare at each other. The two men with him shift in their saddles, hands moving toward their guns. I don't move. Just stand there with my rifle, waiting. Finally, McCriedi laughs. It's a cold sound. All right, Garrett. You want to play it that way? Fine. But let me give you some advice. Winter's coming. It's a hard season. Man needs friends to get through it. You understand what I'm saying. I understand perfectly. He's threatening me, telling me that if I don't cooperate, I'll find myself in trouble come the deep cold. I appreciate the concern, I tell him, but I've made it through 4 winters on my own. I'll make it through this one. We'll see. McCriedi turns his horse. Before he rides off, he looks back at me one more time. Those women killed 2 good men, Garrett, my men. If I find out anyone's hiding them, they'll hang. And so will whoever helped them. Then I guess you better keep looking. He stares at me for a long moment. Then he spurs his horse and rides off, his men following. I stand there until they're out of sight. Only then do I allow myself to breathe. Anaya emerges from behind the house. She saw everything, heard everything. He knows, she says. Maybe, maybe not, but he suspects. What will you do? I look at her. The same thing I did last night. What's right? Her expression softens just slightly. Just enough that I can see the woman behind the warrior. You are a foolish man, Garrett Thorne. Probably. We walk back to the house together. The others are waiting inside, tense and ready. When we enter, they all look to Anaya for guidance. She speaks in Apache, quick and decisive. I catch most of it. We stay. We prepare. If they come back, we fight. Kami nods. She's been waiting for this. A chance to fight back instead of run. That night we sit around the table for the first real meal since they arrived. I cook elk stew, thick and hot, with the last of my root vegetables. There's not much conversation. We're all too tired, too wary. But Sola, the child, speaks for the first time since they arrived. She looks at me with those big dark eyes and asks in halting English, "You have children." Everyone stops eating. The question hangs in the air like smoke. I had a daughter. She was a little younger than you. Where is she? I point to the window, toward the small graveyard on the hill behind the house. She's buried there, with her mother. Sola processes this. Then she says something that breaks my heart and mends it at the same time. They lucky. Why's that? Because you stay with them, not leave them alone. Her mother, Nayeli, pulls her close and whispers something sharp, an admonishment. But Sola shakes her head. She's not trying to be cruel. She's just stating a fact. Her father is gone. Her mother is all she has. I meet Nayeli's eyes. She's not angry at me. She's grateful that someone understands. After dinner, I bring out every weapon I own, 3 rifles, 2 revolvers, 1 shotgun, and 40 rounds of ammunition. Not enough for a sustained fight, but enough to make anyone think twice about attacking. Anaya counts the bullets. She doesn't say anything, but I can see her calculating. 40 rounds. McCriedi probably has 11 men left after losing 2. If they all come at once, we'll run out of ammunition long before we run out of targets. Kame picks up one of the rifles, checks the action, nods with approval. I can shoot, she says in English. I believe you. Icy looks less comfortable with the weapons. She's a healer, not a fighter. But she picks up a revolver anyway, testing its weight. That night, after the others have gone to sleep, Anaya and I sit on the porch. It's cold enough that our breath fogs in the air. The sky is clear now, stars scattered thick across the black. She speaks first. Tomorrow you go to town. You get supplies. Yes, yes. While you are there, you will hear things. People will ask questions. They will want to know if you have seen us. Probably. What will you say? The same thing I told McCriedi. Nothing. She's quiet for a moment. Then she says something I'm not expecting. You cannot save us, Garrett. You know this. I'm not trying to save you. Then why? I look out at the dark land, the mountains just visible against the stars, because 4 years ago I had a choice: leave the ranch and get my family to safety, or stay and protect my property. I chose the ranch, and they died. I'm not making that choice again. This is different. Is it? You're people who need help. I have the means to help. Seems pretty simple to me. Anaya shakes her head. You think the law will see it that way? I don't care what the law sees. I care what I see when I look in the mirror. We sit in silence after that. Eventually, she stands to go inside, but she pauses at the door and speaks over her shoulder. You asked me what I carry. Guilt, I said. But that's not all. I also carry hope. Hope that somewhere in this world there are still men who choose right over easy. She goes inside, leaving me alone with the stars and the cold. I sit there for another hour, thinking about choices and consequences, about McCriedi and his threat, about 5 women and a child who deserve better than what they've been given. And I make a decision, one that will define everything that comes after. Tomorrow, I don't just go to town for supplies. I go to send a telegram to a U.S. Marshal in Denver named Thomas Bridger, a man I met once years ago who seemed like he actually gave a damn about justice. I'm going to tell him about McCready, about the burning, the killing, the land theft. I'm going to ask him to come investigate. It will take time, maybe 2 weeks, maybe more, but it's the only play I have that doesn't end with all of us dead or hanged. It's a long shot, but long shots are all I've got left. Inside, I can hear someone stirring, probably Kim taking her watch by the door. These women don't trust the night. Can't blame them. The night hasn't been kind. But maybe, just maybe, this night will be different. I pick up my rifle and head inside. There's work to do tomorrow, and for the first time in 4 years, I'm not doing it alone. The ride into town takes 3 hours in good weather. Today, with fresh snow on the ground and more threatening from the north, it takes 4. I leave at dawn, before the women are fully awake, leaving Kim in charge. She's the only one I trust to make hard decisions if trouble comes while I'm gone. Before I go, Anaya meets me at the barn. You will be careful. I'm always careful. She doesn't smile. Careful men don't take in wanted women. Fair point. She hands me a list, written in careful English. Eye-size medical supplies, yarrow root, honey, clean bandages, laudanum if I can get it. I fold the paper and put it in my coat pocket. Garrett, I look at her. If you do not come back, we will know what it means. I'll come back. She studies my face for a long moment, then nods. Be safe. The town of Silverton sits in a valley 12 miles south, population around 300 in winter, double that in summer when the miners come through. It's not much. A main street with a general store, a saloon, a church, a hotel, and a dozen houses scattered around the edges. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone's business, which makes my business today delicate. I stable my horse at the livery and walk to the general store. The owner, Marcus Webb, is a decent man who minds his own affairs. He greets me with a nod. Garrett, been a while. Winter keeps me busy. I order the basic supplies first. Flour, salt, coffee, ammunition. Then I casually add IC's medical items. Webb doesn't comment, just adds them to the bill. When he's tallying everything up, I ask the question I came to ask. You know where the telegraph office moved to? Webb looks up. Closed down last month. Man who ran it went back east. Nearest one now is in Durango. Durango, that's 2 days' ride south. Too far. I'll have to find another way to contact Marshal Bridger. Something wrong? Webb asks. No, just had a message to send. It can wait. I pay for the supplies and load them onto my horse. As I'm tying down the last bundle, I hear a voice behind me. Garrett Thorne. Didn't expect to see you in town. I turn. It's Deputy Frank Morris, one of McCready's men. Not one of the originals, but loyal enough. He's standing on the boardwalk, thumbs hooked in his belt, trying to look casual and failing. Just getting supplies. Morris walks closer. Funny thing, boss said he stopped by your place yesterday. Said you seemed nervous. Your boss sees ghosts, maybe. Or maybe he sees something real. He told me to keep an eye out. Says there might be some dangerous women in the area. I keep my face blank. That's so. 5 of them. Apache. Killed 2 men down south. You know how Apache women are. Vicious when cornered. I wouldn't know. Haven't seen any. Morris studies me. He's not smart, but he's persistent. That's a problem. Well, if you do see them, you let us know. There's a reward. $50 per head. I swing up into the saddle. I'll keep that in mind. You do that. And Garrett, watch yourself. Winter's dangerous. Easy for a man to have an accident out there all alone. The threat is clear. I don't acknowledge it. Just turn my horse and ride out of town. But my hand stays near my rifle the whole way home. When I get back to the ranch, the sun is setting and the temperature is dropping fast. As I approach, I see immediately that things have changed. The women have been busy. The fence around the house has been reinforced with extra rails. The windows have been covered with shutters I didn't know I had. The barn door has been barricaded from the inside. And there's a new trench dug along the southern approach, hidden under fresh snow, but visible if you know to look for it. Kimi meets me at the barn. She's holding an axe like it's part of her body. You were gone long time. Telegraph office is closed. Had to figure out another plan. Did you? Yeah. We hold here and hope McCriedi doesn't come with everyone at once. Kimi considers this. Not a good plan. It's the plan we have. Inside, the house smells like cooking meat. Isi and Tyan have made a stew from the elk I shot last week. Nayeli is teaching Sola how to load a revolver, which should probably concern me, but doesn't. The girl needs to know how to protect herself. Anaya is sitting at the table studying a rough map I drew of the property. When I enter, she looks up. You got the supplies, most of them. Telegraph office is closed. Can't get word to the marshal. She absorbs this without expression. Then we prepare for what comes. That's what we do for the next 3 days. We prepare. Kimi and I spend hours cutting trees and dragging them into position, creating barriers and choke points. If McCready's men come on horseback, we want to force them to dismount and approach on foot, slower, more vulnerable. Isi and Tyan work on medical preparations. They set up a station in the kitchen with clean water, bandages, tools for extracting bullets. They're preparing for the worst, and I can't tell them they're wrong to do so. Nayeli and Sola handle the animals, moving the cattle to the far pasture, securing the goats in the reinforced barn, making sure the horses are ready for a quick escape if needed. It's Nayeli who suggests we prepare saddlebags with emergency supplies, food, water, ammunition, just in case. Anaya coordinates everything. She's a natural leader, decisive and clear. She doesn't give orders so much as state facts. This needs to happen. That needs to be done. And it gets done. On the second night, while we're all eating dinner, Kimi asks the question we've all been thinking. How many men will he bring? I've been thinking about this. McCriedi has 11 men left after losing 2. If he brings them all, we're outnumbered more than 2 to 1, but I don't think he will. He'll want to keep some men at his own place. He's not stupid. He knows that if he empties his ranch to attack mine, he's vulnerable. So he'll probably bring 6, maybe 8. Still twice our number, Kimi says. Yes, but we have the advantage of position. They have to come to us. Isi speaks up, her voice soft. What if they just burn us out? Like they did our shelter? They might. But this house is stone and timber, harder to burn than a wooden shelter. And if they get close enough to torch it, they get close enough for us to shoot them. The conversation dies after that. Even with superior position, even with preparation, our odds are not good. That night, Anaya finds me on the porch. It's become our ritual. After the others sleep, we sit in the cold and talk. Not about the past, not about the future, just about now. You are thinking about your wife, she says. It's not a question. Somehow she knows. Yeah, what would she say about this? I think about Elena, her practical mind, her moral clarity. She always knew what was right, even when right was hard. She'd tell me I'm an idiot for risking my life over people I just met. Anaya almost smiles, and then she'd tell me to make sure I do it right. We sit in silence. The stars are bright tonight, sharp as broken glass. Somewhere out there, McCriedi is planning, gathering men, preparing for an attack. We can feel it coming like a storm on the horizon. Anaya speaks again, quieter this time. When I was young, my father told me a story about a warrior who defended a bridge against an army. The warrior knew he would die, but he fought anyway because some things matter more than survival. I glance at her. What happened to the warrior? He died. But the people he protected lived, and they remembered him. Is that what you want? To be remembered? She shakes her head. I want to live. I want all of us to live. But if I must choose between living as prey or dying as a fighter, I choose to fight. I understand her completely. We're the same, she and I. Both carrying guilt, both trying to make up for past failures, both willing to die trying. But I don't want to die, and I don't want them to die, which means I need to be smarter. The next morning, I ride out alone, not to town, to the 3 nearest ranches, the Johnsons to the east, the Martinez family to the west, and old Samuel Cooper to the north. I tell them the same thing at each stop. McCreedy's planning something. I don't know what, but when it happens, it's going to be bad. If you hear gunfire from my place, I'd appreciate you remembering that I've been a good neighbor. Only Samuel Cooper asks the direct question. You got those Apache women everyone's talking about. I meet his eyes. Does it matter? Cooper is 70 years old, a veteran of wars I'm too young to remember. He thinks for a long moment. McCreedy's a bastard. Ran my nephew off his land 2 years back. If you're standing against him, you're doing God's work. He doesn't promise help, but he doesn't threaten me either. It's the best I can hope for. When I get back to the ranch that afternoon, I find Anaya in the barn. She's cleaning the old revolver, her movements practiced and efficient. You went to see the neighbors. Word travels fast. Kime saw you ride east, she told me. I sit down on a hay bale across from her. I needed to know if anyone would help. Will they? Probably not. But at least they won't help McCriedi either. She nods, accepting this. Garrett, if we survive this, what happens after? I've been thinking about that too. After. As if there will be an after. I don't know. I guess we figure it out as we go. The law will not forget. McCriedi will not forget. No, they won't. But maybe if we survive long enough, something will change. Maybe the marshal will come. Maybe McCriedi will make a mistake. Maybe we'll get lucky. You believe in luck. I have to believe in something. Anaya sets down the gun and looks at me directly. I need to tell you something. About Kimi. What about her? She was not always like this. Hard. Ready to kill. When she was young, she was gentle. She wanted to be a teacher. But the soldiers came to her village when she was 16. They killed her family. She watched them die. I don't know what to say to that. After that, she learned to fight. She became what she needed to become to survive. But inside, the gentle girl is still there. If she dies in this fight, that girl dies too. The girl she could have been. Why are you telling me this? Because I need you to understand what you are protecting, not just lives, futures, possibilities. All the things these women could become if they survive. I get it now. She's not just asking me to fight. She's asking me to fight for something bigger than survival. For hope. I won't let them die, Anaya. Any of them. She reaches across and takes my hand. It's the first time she's touched me deliberately. Her hand is rough, calloused from work and hardship, but it's warm. Promise me something. Anything. If it comes to choosing between us and you choose yourself. You save yourself. I can't promise that. Garrett. I look into her eyes. I already lost a family because I chose wrong. I'm not doing it again. We are not your family, aren't you? The question hangs between us. She doesn't answer, but she doesn't let go of my hand either. It happens on the 5th night. We've been taking watches, 2 people at a time, 4-hour shifts. Tonight it's me and Keem. She's at the front window. I'm at the back. It's past midnight when I hear her whisper, "Riders." I move to her position. In the moonlight, I can count them. 8 riders approaching from the south. They're not trying to hide. They want us to know they're coming. McCriedi is in the lead. Even from this distance, I recognize his horse. "Wake the others," I tell Kim, quietly. She moves fast. Within 2 minutes, everyone is up and armed. Icy takes Sola to the root cellar under the kitchen. It's the safest place, reinforced with timber and hidden under a trap door. If everything goes wrong, they're to stay there until it's quiet, then run north to Samuel Cooper's place. The riders stop about 50 yards out, just beyond easy rifle range. Smart. MacReady's done this before. He calls out, his voice carrying clear in the cold night air. "Garrett Thorne, I know you got them in there. Send them out and we'll leave you be. You have my word." His word. Worth less than dirt. I call back, "There's no one here but me, Caleb. Go home. Now, Garrett, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Those women are murderers. They killed my men. They need to face justice." Justice. That's rich, coming from him. "Your men attacked them first. That's what I heard." "You heard wrong." "Did I?" There's a pause. Then MacReady's tone changes. Harder now. "Last chance, Garrett. Send them out, or we come in. Come ahead then. But you better bring more men." I can almost hear him smile. "Oh, I brought enough." That's when I see the torches. 4 of his men light them, bright flames in the darkness. They're going to try to burn us out. Kimi sees it too. She positions herself at the side window, rifle ready. Anaya takes the other front window. Tyen, still weak from her shoulder wound, loads spare rifles. Nayeli stands ready to carry ammunition. The riders split up. 4 circle toward the barn. 4 stay focused on the house. They're going to hit the barn first, kill the livestock, take away our resources. I make a decision. "Cammy, with me. We're going to the barn." Anaya turns. "That's what they want. To draw us out. I know. But if they burn the barn with the animals inside, we lose everything anyway. We have to try." Kimi doesn't hesitate. She grabs her rifle and follows me out the back door. We stay low, moving fast through the shadows. The 4 riders heading to the barn haven't seen us yet. They're focused on the building, getting close enough to throw their torches. We reach the barn just as they do. I take position behind the water trough. Kimi crouches behind the corner of the building. When the first rider gets close enough, I shoot. The bullet takes him in the chest. He falls from his horse, torch dropping into the snow and hissing out. The other 3 react, turning toward my position. That's when Kimi fires. Her shot hits the second rider in the shoulder, spinning him in the saddle. The remaining 2 riders return fire. Bullets slam into the water trough, punching through the wood. Water starts leaking out, freezing as it hits the air. I fire again. Miss. The rider is moving too fast, his horse spooked by the gunfire. Kimi shoots a 3rd time and hits the horse instead of the rider. The animal screams and goes down. The rider jumps clear, but lands wrong. I hear the crack of breaking bone even from here. The 4th rider makes a run at the barn, torch held high. He's going to throw it through the open hayloft. If he succeeds, the whole barn goes up. Kimi stands fully upright, exposes herself completely, and takes careful aim. Her shot is perfect. The rider drops the torch and slumps forward over his horse's neck. The animal keeps running, carrying its dead burden into the darkness. But we've been so focused on the barn that we missed what was happening at the house. Gunfire erupts from that direction. Multiple shots, rapid. I run back toward the house, Kimi right behind me. As we round the corner, I see Tyen on the porch, rifle to her shoulder, firing at riders who've gotten too close. One of MacReady's men is on the ground, not moving. Another is retreating, blood visible on his arm. Then I see Isi running from the house toward the well. She's carrying a bucket. Behind her, smoke is starting to pour from the kitchen window. They got a torch inside. I sprint toward Icy. She reaches the well and starts hauling up water, but she's too slow. The smoke is getting thicker. Inside that house is Anaya, Tyen, Nayeli, and Sola in the cellar. If the fire spreads, they're trapped. Kimi reaches Isi first, grabs the bucket as soon as it's full, and runs toward the house. I get the next bucket and follow. The smoke is black now, oily. Something's burning that shouldn't be, not just wood, cloth, or flesh. Anaya appears in the doorway, coughing. Her face is blackened with soot. She's dragging Nayeli, who's unconscious. I drop the bucket and help her get Nayeli outside, into the snow. Anaya collapses next to her, gasping. "Sola," I manage to say. "Still in the cellar?" Safe. The fire is spreading fast. Keem throws her bucket of water into the kitchen, but it's not enough. We need more. I run back to the well, but before I can get there, I hear hoofbeats. McCriedi and his remaining men are pulling back, retreating into the darkness. They're not running away scared. They're falling back to regroup. I count them as they go. 5 riders. We killed 1 for sure, wounded at least 2 more. They started with 8. That's not a bad ratio, but it cost us. The house is still burning. Keamy and I make trip after trip to the well, throwing water on the flames. It takes 20 minutes to get it under control. When it's finally out, half the kitchen is destroyed. The table is gone, the stove damaged, 1 wall burned through to the frame. But we're alive. I find Anaya sitting in the snow, still catching her breath. There's a burn on her left forearm, raw and blistering. Isi is already treating it, applying a salve made from the supplies I brought from town. Nayeli wakes up slowly. She breathed in too much smoke, but her lungs sound clear. She'll be all right. When she's conscious enough to understand, she asks about Sola. I open the cellar door and bring the girl up. Mother and daughter hold each other and cry. Tyan comes over, limping. She was shot again, just a graze on the leg, but between that and her shoulder wound, she's in rough shape. Isi gets her sitting down and starts work on the new injury. Keamy stands guard, rifle ready, watching for the riders to return. But I don't think they will. Not tonight. McCready lost too many men. He'll need time to regroup, to plan something else. I do a full count of our ammunition. We started with 40 rounds. Now we have 24 left. We used 16 bullets to kill 1 man and wound 2 others. Not efficient, not sustainable. As dawn starts to break, we gather in what's left of the main room. Everyone is exhausted, smoke-stained, some wounded, but alive. All of us alive. Anaya speaks first. They will come back, I know. With more men this time. Probably. Keamy leans against the wall. How many bullets left? 24. She does the math in her head. If he brings 10 men, we run out of bullets before we run out of targets. Sola, sitting on her mother's lap, asks in her small voice, "We die." The room goes silent. Everyone looks at the little girl. Then everyone looks at me, waiting for an answer, waiting for hope. I think about Marshall Bridger in Denver. 2 days' ride away, if he even got word to come. I think about my neighbors, who might help but probably won't. I think about McCready, who won't stop until we're dead or gone. And I make a promise I'm not sure I can keep. No, we don't die. Anaya meets my eyes. How? I'm working on that. But the truth is, I don't have an answer. We're outnumbered, outgunned, and running out of time. The house is damaged. Our supplies are limited. We can't survive another attack like that. Unless something changes, unless help arrives, unless McCready makes a mistake, we're finished. Anaya seems to read my thoughts. She stands up, walks over to me, and speaks quietly enough that only I can hear. You cannot save us all, Garrett. You know this. I'm not giving up. I am not asking you to give up. I am asking you to be realistic. If they come again with more men, some of us will die. Maybe all of us. You need to prepare for that. I shake my head. There has to be another way. There is. Surrender. Give them me. I'm the one who killed their men. The others can say they were forced. They might survive. No. Garrett, I said no. She grabs my arm, forces me to look at her. Then what? What is your plan? I don't have one yet, but I'll find one. I stop, because I hear something. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. Hoofbeats. Everyone tenses. Keem moves to the window, but she doesn't raise her rifle. Instead, she turns back to us, confusion on her face. Many horses, 20, maybe more, coming from the north. The north. Not from McCriedi's direction, from Samuel Cooper's place. I step outside. The sun is just clearing the mountains, painting the snow gold and pink, and there, coming down the road, is a line of riders. At least 25 of them. I can make out Samuel Cooper in the lead, his white hair bright in the dawn light. Behind him are the Johnsons, the Martinez family, and a dozen others. Ranchers and farmers I've known for years but never been close to, all armed, all riding toward my ranch. Cooper reaches the yard and dismounts. He looks at the burned house, the bodies in the snow, the exhausted women holding rifles. He nods to me. Heard gunfire last night. Figured you might need neighbors after all. I can't speak for a moment. Then I manage. Thank you. Cooper shrugs. McCready's been a problem for all of us. About time someone stood up to him. He looks at Anaya and the others. These the women he's hunting. Yes, they kill his men in self-defense. That's what I understand. Cooper spits tobacco juice into the snow. Good enough for me. He raises his voice so everyone can hear. McCriedi comes back, he's coming through all of us. Anyone got a problem with that? No one speaks. No one objects. Cooper turns back to me. We'll post guards, take shifts. You and your people get some rest. When McCriedi comes again, he's going to find more than he bargained for. As the neighbors spread out around the property, setting up positions and checking sight lines, Anaya comes to stand beside me. Your neighbors came. Yeah, why? I think about Cooper's nephew, run off his land. I think about the fear McCriedi has spread for years. I think about the moment when good people decide they've had enough. Because sometimes standing up to evil is contagious. She doesn't smile, but something in her face softens. She takes my hand again, holds it tight. Maybe we live after all, maybe. But even as I say it, I know McCriedi won't give up. He's lost men, lost face. He'll come back with everything he has. And when he does, even 25 armed neighbors might not be enough. Still, for the first time since this started, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Hope. 2 days pass. 2 days of waiting, watching, preparing. Samuel Cooper and the neighbors set up a rotation. 8 men on watch at all times, positioned around the property with clear sight lines. The rest sleep in shifts in the barn and the equipment shed. It's cramped and cold, but no one complains. They all know what's coming. During those 2 days, we work on fortifications. The men help me rebuild the burned section of the house with what materials we have. It's rough work, not pretty, but it's functional. The kitchen is usable again, the wall patched with planks from the equipment shed. The women work alongside us. Anaya helps coordinate the defense positions, her tactical mind sharp and clear. Kame teaches some of the younger men how to move quietly, how to watch for ambush. Isi tends to the wounded, both from our group and from the fight 2 nights ago. Tayen and Nayeli prepare food, enough to feed 30 people twice a day. Sola stays close to her mother, but she's watching everything, learning. She's too young to be learning these things, but out here, childhood ends when it has to. On the second morning, I'm checking the southern fence line with Cooper when he asks the question that's been hanging in the air. You got a plan for when McCriedi comes with his whole gang. Hope we have enough bullets, Cooper spits. That's not a plan. That's a prayer. You got something better, he thinks for a moment. We could ride south, hit his place before he hits ours. I've considered that. Problem is, we don't know how many men he has total. Could be 15, could be 20. If we attack his ranch and he's ready for us, we're the ones caught in the open, so we wait for him to come to us. It's the only move that makes sense. Cooper nods slowly. Your woman, the Apache. She's the one who killed his men, Anaya. And yes, she is tough as she looks. Tougher, good. Because when this is over, people are going to ask questions. Having someone tough enough to tell the truth matters. I understand what he's saying. If we survive, there will be a reckoning. The law will want answers. Having witnesses who can stand up under pressure, who can tell the story without breaking, that's crucial. That afternoon, I find Anaya in the barn. She's cleaning weapons again, a task she returns to whenever she needs to think. I sit down beside her. You doing all right? She doesn't look up from the revolver. I keep thinking about what happens after. After we win or after we lose, either. If we lose, there is no after, not for us. And if we win, then we face different enemies, the law, people's fear, the whole weight of a society that doesn't want us to exist. I pick up a cleaning rag and start working on a rifle. You think we can survive that? I think we already have. Everything that comes next is just more of the same. Surviving. We work in silence for a while. Then she asks something unexpected. Tell me about your wife, the real story, not just that she died. I stop cleaning. Most people don't ask about Elena. They know it's painful and they avoid it. But Anaya's not most people. She was practical, I say slowly, good with numbers. She ran the ranch finances better than I ever could. She could make $1 stretch into $3, and she was kind. Not soft, but kind. She believed people deserved second chances, even you, even me, especially me. I made a lot of mistakes before I met her. She saw past them. What kind of mistakes? I was angry when I was young. My father died, my mother died, and I was angry at the world. I drank too much, fought too much, got myself thrown in jail twice before I was 20. Elena was the daughter of the sheriff. She saw me in that cell, and instead of walking past, she asked me why I was so angry. What did you say? I told her to mind her own business. Anaya almost smiles. And she married you anyway. Took 3 years. But yeah, she saw something in me I didn't see in myself, and she made me want to be that person. And when she died, I thought that person died with her, that I'd go back to being the angry kid in the jail cell. But I didn't, because she changed me permanently. That's what love does. It changes you in ways that don't go away, even when the person does. Anaya sets down the revolver. She looks at me directly. I was not kind to my husband, even before he started drinking, before the beatings. I was cold to him. He was not the man I wanted to marry. My father arranged it, and I punished him for that every day. I made him feel small and worthless. Maybe that's why he drank. Maybe I drove him to it. Or maybe he was weak and cruel, and you were protecting yourself the only way you knew how. She shakes her head. I do not need you to absolve me, Garrett. I need you to understand that I am not the hero of this story. None of us are. We are just people trying to survive. Then that's enough. Being people who try. That's all anyone can ask. She reaches out and touches my face, her rough hand gentle against my cheek. It's an intimate gesture, more intimate than anything we've shared before. If we survive this, she says quietly, I would like to know you better. The real you, not the man protecting us. Just Garrett. I'd like that too. The moment breaks when Kimi appears in the barn doorway, riders coming from the south. We're on our feet instantly, weapons in hand. Outside, Cooper is already organizing the men into positions. I count the approaching riders as they crest the hill. 11 men. McCriedi brought everyone he has left. They stop at the same place as before, just out of easy rifle range. But this time, they don't make demands. They don't threaten. They just sit there on their horses, watching us. McCriedi is studying the defenses. He can see we're not alone anymore. He's counting the men we have, calculating odds, looking for weaknesses. After 5 minutes of silence, he calls out, Quite a gathering you got there, Garrett. Must be important, whatever you're protecting. Just my property, Caleb, same as any man. That's so. Because it looks to me like you got something that doesn't belong to you. Everything on this land belongs to me. McCriedi laughs. It's a cold sound that carries across the snow. Tell you what, I'm a reasonable man. I'll make you an offer. You give me what I want, and I'll pay you for your trouble. $100. That's more than fair. What do you want? You know what I want. Those 5 women. They murdered my men. That's a debt that needs paying. They defended themselves. Your men attacked them first. That's their story. My men aren't here to tell theirs. Convenient. McCready's expression hardens. Last chance, Garrett. Take the money and walk away. Otherwise, I got 11 men here and more coming. You can't hold out forever." Cooper steps forward, his voice ringing out clear. "He's not alone, McCriedi. You go through him, you go through all of us." McCriedi looks at Cooper, then at the other neighbors positioned around the property. I can see him doing the math. 11 men against 30. Bad odds. But I also see something else in his face. Determination. He's gone too far to back down now. "All right then." McCriedi turns his horse. "You all made your choice. Live with the consequences. They ride off. But they don't go far. About a mile south, they stop and set up camp. We can see their fires when night falls. They're not leaving. They're waiting." "For what?" Kimmy asks. "Reinforcements," Cooper says grimly. He said more were coming. He meant it. How many more? No way to know. But McCready's got connections. Other ranchers who think like he does. Men who'll come running if he promises them Apache scalps and stolen land. We could have days, I say. Or we could have hours. That night, sleep is impossible. Everyone's on edge, waiting for the attack that could come at any moment. I walk the perimeter, checking on the guards, making sure everyone's awake and alert. Around midnight, I find Anaya on the porch. She's wrapped in a blanket, staring out at the distant fires. Can't sleep. She shakes her head. Too many thoughts. I sit beside her. Want to share them. I keep thinking about Sola. She is 8 years old. She should be learning to read, playing with other children, living a life without fear. Instead, she is loading rifles and hiding in root cellars. Kids out here grow up fast, too fast. And if we die tomorrow, what was it all for? What did she gain from watching us fight? She gained the knowledge that some people fight back. That's not nothing. Anaya pulls the blanket tighter. In my tribe, before the soldiers came, we had a saying. The warrior who dies defending the village is honored, but the warrior who keeps the village from needing defense is revered. Do you understand? You're saying fighting is not the goal. Surviving is. Surviving with dignity, with honor, not just staying alive, but staying human. Then that's what we do. We stay human. No matter what McCriedi does, no matter how scared we get, we don't become like him. She looks at me. You believe we can do that? I have to. We sit in silence, watching the enemy fires burn in the distance. Tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that, those men will come. And when they do, everything will change. Around 3 in the morning, Cooper comes to find me. Got a problem. What kind? The Johnson boy. He's 18, rode out here with his father. He's talking about leaving. Says this isn't his fight. Is he wrong? Cooper's face is grim. No, he's not wrong. This isn't his fight. It's not any of their fights. They came here because they're good people who wanted to help a neighbor. But asking them to die for 5 Apache women they don't know, that's different. So what do? We let anyone leave who wants to leave. No shame in it. But we need to know now, before the fighting starts. Can't have men breaking during a battle. I gather everyone in the barn, all 30 people, tired and cold and scared. I stand in the center and tell them the truth. McCready's waiting for reinforcements. When they come, he'll hit us with everything he has. Some of us will die, maybe all of us. If any man wants to leave, do it now. No one will judge you. For a long moment, no one moves. Then the Johnson boy steps forward. I'm sorry, Mr. Thorne, but I got a girl waiting for me in town. I can't die here. His father, a gray-haired man named Robert, puts a hand on his son's shoulder. Go on, son. Tell Mary I'll be home soon. The boy leaves, riding north into the darkness. After he's gone, I ask again. Anyone else? No one moves. Cooper nods. Guess that's settled then. But I see it in their faces. The fear, the doubt. These are not soldiers. They're farmers and ranchers, family men with everything to lose. They're here because it's right. But that doesn't make them ready to die. I need to give them something more, something to fight for beyond abstract justice. Over the next day, things change. More riders appear on the southern horizon. McCready's reinforcements. I count them as they arrive. 5 men, then 3 more, then another 4. By sunset, McCriedi has 23 men. We still have 29, but the math is getting worse. His men are fighters, hired guns, and land thieves who've done this before. Our men are civilians with families. That evening, I'm checking ammunition stores when Icy approaches me. She's been quiet these past days, focused on her healing work, but now she has something to say. Garrett, I need to tell you something about Tyen. What about her? The wound in her shoulder. It is infected, getting worse. She needs real medicine, antibiotics from a doctor, or she will die. How long does she have? 3 days, maybe 4. I absorb this. Another clock ticking down. Another life in the balance. Can we move her? Get her to town, not without killing her faster. The ride would tear open the wound, so we need to bring a doctor here. Yes, I think fast. The nearest doctor is in Silverton, 12 miles south, right through McCriedi's position. Impossible. Unless. I find Cooper. Tell me about the trails north, the old mining roads. He frowns. Most of them are snowed over this time of year. Why? I need to get to Durango, the telegraph office. Send word to the U.S. Marshal. Cooper studies me. That's 2 days' ride on good roads. 4 or 5 on mining trails. You'll freeze. I'll manage. And if McCready attacks while you're gone, then you hold without me. Garrett, that's... I cut him off. We need the Marshal. It's the only way this ends without everyone dying. I should have gone days ago. I'm going tonight. Anaya overhears this. She follows me to the barn. You are leaving, just for a few days. She grabs my arm. If you leave, you might not make it back before the attack. You might not make it back at all, I know. Then why? Because if I don't go, Tyen dies. And even if we win the fight, the law will come for you. But if Marshal Bridger is here, if he sees what McCreedi really is, you have a chance at a future. She stares at me. You would risk everything for that. I've already risked everything. Might as well make it count. I prepare quickly. Heavy coat, food for 4 days, my best rifle, and $50 for the telegram. Cooper lends me his fastest horse, a gray gelding with good stamina. Before I leave, I gather the 5 women together. I'm riding to Durango, sending for the Marshal. Should take 3 days there and back. Cooper's in charge while I'm gone. You listen to him. Kame nods. We will hold. Nayeli, speaking for the first time since the attack, says quietly, Come back, I plan to. Sola runs up and hugs my leg. I kneel down to her level. You be brave, okay? Help your mama. She nods, eyes wide. Anaya walks me to the edge of the property. She doesn't speak until we're out of earshot of the others. This is not just about the Marshal, is it? You are running. I stop. That's not fair. Is it not? Your wife died because you stayed when you should have left. Now you are leaving when you should stay. That's different. Is it? I turn to face her fully. I'm not running. I'm doing the one thing that might save all of you. If that looks like cowardice to you, I'm sorry, but I'm doing it anyway. Her expression softens. I know. I am sorry, I am afraid, and I am taking it out on you. We're all afraid. She steps closer. Garrett, if you do not come back, I want you to know something. These past days with you have been the first time in years I have felt safe. Not because you have guns or walls, because you have honor. That is rarer than bullets. I don't know what to say to that. So I do the only thing that feels right. I lean down and kiss her. It's brief, chaste, nothing improper, but it's a promise. A vow that I'm coming back. When I pull away, she's smiling. A real smile. Small, but genuine. Go. Ride fast. Come back faster. I mount the horse and ride north into the darkness. Behind me, the ranch disappears into the night. Ahead, the mountains loom black against the stars. The ride is brutal. The mining trails are barely paths, covered in snow and ice. The temperature drops below 0. My fingers go numb even in gloves. The horse struggles through drifts that reach its chest. But I push on, because Tyen is dying, because McCreedi is coming, because 5 women and a child are counting on me. I reach Durango late on the 2nd day. The town is 3 times the size of Silverton, with a proper telegraph office and a U.S. Marshal's station. I go straight to the telegraph office. The operator is a thin man with spectacles and ink-stained fingers. He looks up when I burst through the door, covered in snow and half frozen. I need to send a telegram. To U.S. Marshal Thomas Bridger in Denver. Urgent. He slides paper and pencil across the counter. Write it out. $1 a word. I write fast. Marshal Bridger, Garrett Thorne. Thorne Ranch, north of Silverton. Caleb McCriedi murdering Apache civilians. Burned shelter. Killed innocents. Preparing to kill more. 5 survivors need protection. Neighbors fighting but outnumbered. Come immediately. We'll pay all expenses. The operator counts. $28. I hand him $40. Send it now. Wait for a response. It takes an hour. I pace the office, warming my hands by the stove, watching the sun set through the window. Finally, the telegraph clicks to life. The operator writes down the message and hands it to me. Thorne. Bridger here. En route to Durango on separate matter. Will detach 20 men immediately. Arriving Silverton in 2 days. Hold position. Do not engage until I arrive. This is an order. I read it twice to make sure I'm not hallucinating from exhaustion. The marshal is already on his way. He'll be there in 2 days with 20 men. Federal authority. Real law. We just have to survive 2 more days. I sleep 4 hours in a boarding house, then start the ride back. The return trip is faster because I know the trail now. I push the horse hard, maybe too hard, but I can't afford to go slow. I reach the ranch at dawn on the 4th day after I left. As I approach, I see immediately that things have changed. There are more men around the property now. I count 35, up from the 29 when I left. More neighbors came. But McCriedi's camp has grown too. I can see at least 30 fires in his encampment. The siege has begun in earnest. I ride in, and Cooper meets me at the barn. You made it. Telegraph went through. Marshal's coming. 2 days. Cooper's face floods with relief. Thank God. We were starting to think. What happened while I was gone? McCreedy's been testing our defenses, sending small groups to probe for weaknesses. We've repelled them, but we've lost men. 3 wounded, 1 dead. James Martinez took a bullet to the chest. Died this morning. My stomach sinks. I knew James. Good man. Wife and 4 children. Cooper continues. And McCreedy's been talking to our men, offering money to anyone who walks away. $100 per man. We've lost 5 so far. Couldn't blame them. So we're down to 30. 30 against his 30 plus, even odds now. Except his men are fighters and ours are farmers. Cooper doesn't argue. I find Anaya in the house. She's with Tyan, who looks worse than when I left. Pale, sweating, barely conscious. Icy is doing what she can, but it's not enough. Anaya looks up when I enter. Her face shows exhaustion and relief in equal measure. You came back. I told you I would. She stands and embraces me. It's the first time she's initiated physical contact beyond holding hands. She holds on tight, her face pressed against my chest. I thought you left us. Never. When she pulls back, there are no tears, but her eyes are bright. Tyan is dying, I know. But the marshal is coming. 2 days. He'll have a doctor with him. 2 days. Isai says she has 1 day, maybe less. Then we pray for miracles. That night, McCriedi makes his move. It starts with fire again, always fire. They come at midnight when the watch is tired and the cold is deepest. 20 men on foot moving silent through the darkness. They get within 50 yards before our sentries see them. The first shot rings out, then a dozen more. The battle erupts across the property like a wildfire. I'm at the north window with Cooper. We fire methodically, picking targets, making every bullet count. Beside us, Kimi and 3 neighbors do the same. Our muzzle flashes light up the darkness like lightning. The attackers return fire from the cover of rocks and trees. Bullets slam into the house walls, punch through windows. Glass shatters, wood splinters. Someone screams from the south side of the house. I reload and keep firing. The Winchester kicks against my shoulder, familiar and brutal. I see a man go down, don't know if I hit him or someone else did. Another takes his place. They're trying to flank us. I see movement on the east side. Shadows running low and fast. I shout a warning. 2 neighbors shift position to cover that approach. More gunfire. The battle goes on for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of chaos and noise and death. Then, as suddenly as it started, it stops. The attackers pull back, disappearing into the darkness. We count our casualties, 2 dead, 5 wounded, and we're down to less than 100 rounds of ammunition. McCriedi lost at least 4 men that I could count, but he has more. He can afford losses, we can't. Dawn comes gray and cold. We bury the dead quickly, shallow graves in the frozen ground. Prayers are brief, there's no time for proper mourning. Anaya finds me behind the barn. I'm reloading weapons, my hands shaking from exhaustion and adrenaline. 1 more day, I tell her. The marshal comes tomorrow. If we survive tonight, we'll survive. She sits beside me. Garrett, I need to ask you something. Anything. If it comes to choosing between saving Sola or saving me, you choose the child. I stop reloading. That's not a choice I'm willing to make. It is a choice you might have to make, and I need to know you will choose right. Anaya, promise me. I look into her eyes. She's serious, absolutely serious. I promise. She nods, thank you. That day passes in tense preparation. We redistribute ammunition, move the wounded to the cellar, prepare for another assault. It comes at dusk. This time, McCriedi commits everything. 30 men all at once hitting from 3 directions simultaneously. It's not subtle. It's not tactical. It's overwhelming force. The first wave hits the south side. 10 men charging straight at the house, firing as they come. We meet them with everything we have. The noise is deafening. Men scream. Guns roar. The smell of gunpowder chokes the air. I shoot a man climbing through a window. He falls back, blood spreading across his chest. Kame stabs another with her knife as he tries to force the door. Her face is spattered with blood, her eyes wild. The second wave hits the barn. They're trying to burn us out again. I see torches arcing through the air. Cooper and 3 men run to defend it. Gunfire erupts from that direction. The third wave circles around the north side, trying to get behind us. But our neighbors are ready. A crossfire cuts them down. Bodies pile up in the snow. But we're losing. Slowly, inevitably, we're being overwhelmed. We're down to 30 rounds, then 20, then 10. A man breaks through the south window. I grapple with him. We crash to the floor. He's stronger than me, younger. He gets his hands around my throat. I can't breathe. Black spots dance in my vision. Then Anaya is there. She brings the butt of her revolver down on his skull. Once, twice. He goes limp. She pulls me up. How many bullets? 5? 5 rounds left. 30 men still attacking. The math is impossible. And that's when we hear it. Distant at first, then growing louder. Hoofbeats, many horses, coming fast from the north. For a terrible moment, I think it's more of McCreedy's men. We're finished. But then I see the uniforms, blue coats, Federal cavalry. 20 riders led by a tall man with silver hair and a marshal's badge. Thomas Bridger has arrived. The cavalry hits McCreedy's men from behind. The attackers, caught between us and the Federal troops, break. They scatter, running for their horses. The marshal's men pursue, rounding them up, disarming them. Within 15 minutes, it's over. McCriedi himself is captured trying to flee on foot. 2 soldiers drag him into our yard and throw him down in the snow. Bridger dismounts and walks over to him. Caleb McCriedi, you're under arrest for murder, arson, assault, and conspiracy to commit murder. McCriedi glares up at him. These women killed my men. After your men attacked them first. I have witnesses. Mexican families from town who saw the whole thing. Your men assaulted those women. They defended themselves. That's legal, even for Apache women. Surprise, but... Bridger cuts him off. You're done, McCriedi. Your land, your money, your freedom. All of it. Done. The marshal turns to me. You Garrett Thorne? I am. You sent the telegram? Yes, sir. He looks around at the damaged house. the wounded men, the exhausted defenders. Hell of a stand you made here. Wasn't just me, all of us. Bridger nods. I can see that. He has a doctor with him, a young man with a military kit. The doctor immediately goes to work on the wounded. He reaches Tayan first, examines her shoulder, and starts treatment. Antibiotics, real medicine. She'll live. Over the next hour, the marshal's men secure the area. They arrest McCreedy's men, treat our wounded, document the scene. Bridger himself takes statements from everyone, writing everything down in a leather journal. When he gets to Anaya, he asks her directly, "Did you kill 2 men at the shelter?" She doesn't hesitate. "Yes. Why?" "They tried to rape one of us. We fought back." Bridger writes this down. "Self-defense, that's clear." He looks up at her. "You and your companions are free to go. No charges." Anaya stares at him. "You believe us. I believe the evidence. And I believe 20 witnesses who say McCreedy's been terrorizing this territory for years." He pauses. "Also, I don't like men who prey on women. Tends to make me unsympathetic to their complaints." The marshal stays for 2 days, completing his investigation. His final report clears all of us and condemns McCreedy. The rancher will face trial in Denver. Given the evidence, Bridger expects him to hang. When the marshal finally leaves, taking McCreedy and his men in chains, the ranch feels empty. The neighbors pack up and head home. Cooper is the last to leave. "You did good, Garrett. Real good. Couldn't have done it without you. Maybe. But you started it. You stood up when no one else would. That matters." After he rides off, it's just us again. Me and 5 women and a child. The people who started this together. We spend the next week repairing the damage, fixing walls, replacing windows, cleaning up the blood and bullet holes. It's hard work, but it feels good. Productive. Like building something instead of just surviving. Tayan recovers slowly but steadily. Within 2 weeks, she's up and moving, helping with light work. The infection is gone. She'll have a scar, but she'll live. The town's attitude changes too. At first, there's suspicion and gossip, but as the story spreads, as people learn the truth about McCreedy, as they see 5 women working honestly to rebuild, the hostility fades. Icy opens a small clinic in town. She treats anyone who comes, white or Apache or Mexican, never turning anyone away. Within a month, she has more patients than she can handle. Kime starts teaching survival skills to the local children. Hunting, tracking, building shelter. Parents are skeptical at first, but when their kids come home with fresh meat and new confidence, they warm up to her. Tayan and Nayeli open a seamstress shop together. Their work is beautiful, intricate patterns that blend Apache tradition with modern design. They're booked solid within weeks. Sola enrolls in the town school. She's the first Apache child they've ever admitted. The teacher, a stern woman named Mrs. Harrison, treats her no differently than any other student. Sola thrives. And Anaya stays on the ranch with me. We don't rush into anything. We take our time, learning each other, building trust. She sleeps in the repaired bedroom. I sleep in my chair by the stove. We work side by side during the day and talk on the porch at night. 3 months pass like this. Winter gives way to spring. The snow melts. The creek runs high and fast. Green returns to the valley. One evening in March, I take Anaya to the small graveyard on the hill. We stand in front of Elena and Lily's graves. I've brought fresh flowers, the first wild flowers of spring. "I want you to meet them," I tell Anaya. "This is Elena, my wife, and Lily, my daughter." Anaya kneels and places her own flowers on the graves. She speaks quietly, in English so I can understand. "Thank you for making him the man he is. Thank you for teaching him to be kind. I will honor your memory by taking care of him." She stands and takes my hand. "You loved them very much." I did. "I still do. I know. That is why I can love you, because you know how to love truly." I turn to face her. "Are you saying—" "I am saying that I want to stay. Not as someone hiding, not as someone running. As someone who chooses to be here. With you." I don't have words, so I show her instead. I kiss her properly this time, not a brief touch, but something deeper. A promise and a question, all at once. When we part, she's smiling. We marry in April. Not a big ceremony, just the essentials. The 5 women, Sola, Samuel Cooper, and a traveling preacher who happens through town. We stand under the old oak tree near the house, the same tree that shaded Elena and Lily years before. The preacher asks if anyone objects. No one does. He pronounces us married. Anaya becomes Anaya Thorne. It's legal, binding, recognized by the territory. That night we finally share the bedroom, the room that's been locked for 4 years. She helps me clean it out, removing the old memories while honoring them. Elena's dresses go into a trunk for safekeeping. Lily's toys are wrapped carefully and stored. We make new memories in that room. Gentle ones, patient ones, learning each other's bodies and hearts with equal care. In May, Anaya tells me she's pregnant. We're sitting on the porch at sunset when she says it, just states it plainly, like announcing the weather. I am going to have a baby. 2, actually. Isai says twins. I nearly fall out of my chair. Twins. Yes, are you sure? Very sure. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, so I do both. She watches me with amusement. You are happy. I'm terrified and ecstatic and completely unprepared. Good. That means you will try hard. The other women throw a celebration. Even stoic Kimi smiles. Sola is excited to be an older sister, even though the babies aren't technically her siblings. In this household, those distinctions don't matter. We're all family now. The summer is peaceful. We expand the ranch, buy more cattle with the reward money the marshal gave us for helping capture McCriedi. The land prospers. The creek runs clear. The grass grows thick. In town, attitudes continue to shift. When Anaya walks down the main street, people nod to her. Some even smile. When Isi tends to a sick child and saves their life, the parents thank her with tears in their eyes. When Kimi brings in fresh meat for the butcher, he pays her fairly. It's not perfect. There's still prejudice, still fear, still whispered comments, but it's better, and better is enough. In September, McCready's trial concludes in Denver. He's found guilty on all counts. The sentence is death by hanging. Marshal Bridger sends me a letter with the news. Justice, the marshal writes, is slow. But it arrives eventually. I show the letter to Anaya. She reads it without expression. How do you feel? I ask. She thinks for a moment. Not happy, not sad, just finished. That chapter is closed. She's 8 months pregnant now, moving slowly, her belly huge with the twins. Icy predicts they'll come early, maybe in October. We prepare the house, setting up a nursery in Lily's old room. It feels right, using that space for new life. The babies come on October 12th, just after midnight. Both girls. Healthy, loud, beautiful. Anaya labors for 6 hours. Icy and I are with her the whole time. When the first baby emerges, screaming her arrival into the world, I cut the cord with shaking hands. The second follows 20 minutes later, smaller but just as fierce. We name them Elena and Hope. Elena for the past. Hope for the future. When I hold them both, one in each arm, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Not just happiness, not just relief, but peace. Complete, total peace. Anaya watches me from the bed, exhausted but smiling. You are crying again. Can't help it. You are a soft man, Garrett Thorne. I'm a lucky man. That winter is gentle. The snow comes late and leaves early. The babies grow strong. Elena is quiet and observant, studying everything with serious eyes. Hope is louder, demanding, always wanting attention. They're perfect. The 5 women take turns helping with the babies. Kim, terrifying in battle, is surprisingly gentle with infants. Isi knows every remedy for colic and teething. Tyan sews tiny clothes with intricate patterns. Nayeli tells them stories in Apache, teaching them the language of their mother. And Sola, now 9 years old, is the best big sister anyone could ask for. She holds the babies carefully, sings to them, makes them laugh. One evening in March, almost exactly a year after Anaya and I married, I sit on the porch with her and the twins. The sun is setting, painting the sky orange and purple. The valley stretches out before us, green and alive with spring. Anaya leans against me, one baby in her arms, one in mine. "Do you ever regret it?" she asks, taking us in. I think about that night a year and a half ago, 5 women and a child, bloodied and desperate, appearing in my barn. I think about the choice I made, the consequences that followed, the battles, the fear, the loss. I think about James Martinez, who died defending people he barely knew. I think about Elena and Lily, buried on the hill. I think about the man I was before and the man I am now. Never, I tell her. Not once. Even though it was hard, especially because it was hard. The hard things are the ones that matter. She kisses my cheek. "You are a good man, Garrett Thorne. I'm just a man who made a choice. Anyone could have done the same. But they did not. You did." We sit in silence, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains. Elena falls asleep in my arms. Hope fights sleep in Anaya's, fussing until her mother soothes her. Inside the house, I can hear the others. Cami and Tyen are arguing about something, their voices loud but friendly. Nayeli is teaching Sola a new song. Isi is cooking dinner, the smell of spices drifting through the open door. This is my family now, not the family I was born into, not the family I married into the first time, but the family I chose and who chose me back. A year later, in the spring of 1885, something unexpected happens. I'm in town buying supplies when an old woman approaches me. She's Apache, clearly, but dressed in the style of a Mexican grandmother. She speaks English with a thick accent. "You are Garrett Thorne, husband of Anaya." "I am. Can I help you?" She studies my face. "I am a pony. I am Anaya's mother." I nearly dropped the sack of flour I'm holding. Anaya's mother, the woman she thought was dead. "She left us," Anaya told me once, "abandoned me when I was 12. But looking at this woman, I see the truth. This is not someone who abandoned anyone. This is a survivor." "You should come to the ranch," I tell her. "Anaya will want to see you." The woman, a pony, hesitates. "She thinks I left her, that I chose to go. Did you?" "No. I was taken, sold. It took me 12 years to escape and find my way back. Then she needs to know that." I bring a pony back to the ranch. When we arrive, Anaya is hanging laundry with the twins playing at her feet. She looks up, sees the old woman, and freezes. For a long moment, neither of them moves. Then Anaya speaks, her voice shaking. "Ina, mother." The old woman opens her arms. Anaya walks into them slowly, disbelieving. When they embrace, both women cry. Years of grief and abandonment and misunderstanding pouring out. "I did not leave you," a pony says in Apache. "I was stolen. I tried to come back. I searched for 12 years. Anaya pulls back, studying her mother's face. "I thought you were dead. I thought you were dead. But a woman in Durango told me about an Apache woman married to a white rancher. A woman with twins, I hoped." They hold each other again. The twins, curious, toddle over to investigate. A pony kneels and looks at her granddaughters with wonder. "Their names?" she asks. "Elena and Hope." "Beautiful names. May I hold them?" Anaya nods. A pony picks up Elena, who studies her great-grandmother with serious eyes. Then Hope demands attention too. Soon the old woman is sitting in the grass, both babies in her lap, laughing and crying at the same time. That evening, a pony tells her story, how she was captured by slavers when Anaya was 12, how she was sold to a family in Mexico, how she worked for them for years, never giving up hope of escape, how she finally ran 3 years ago and has been searching for her daughter ever since. "You have built a good life," a pony says to Anaya, "a strong family." "We have built it together," Anaya replies, taking my hand, "all of us." She introduces her mother to the others. Kame, Isi, Tayen, Nayeli, Sola, her chosen family. Aponi accepts them all without question. In Apache culture, family is who you claim, not just who you're born to. Aponi stays. We build her a small cabin near the main house, close enough to help with the twins but far enough for privacy. She teaches the babies Apache, tells them stories of their heritage, keeps the culture alive. The years pass. The twins grow. Sola becomes a teacher herself, the first Apache woman to be certified in the territory. She teaches both white and Apache children, bridging two worlds. Kami eventually marries a widower from town, a quiet man who respects her strength. They have no children, but they're happy. She continues teaching survival skills, becoming legendary in the region. Icy's clinic expands. She trains other healers, both Apache and white, creating a small medical community. She never marries, claiming she's married to her work. Tayan and Nayeli's seamstress shop becomes famous. Their designs are sold as far away as Denver and Santa Fe. They make enough money to buy their own building in town, living above the shop. And Anaya and I grow old together. We have 2 more children, both boys, born 3 years after the twins. Our family is large and loud and chaotic and perfect. 20 years after that night in the barn, I'm sitting on the porch with Anaya, both of us gray-haired now. The twins, now 20 years old, are playing with their younger brothers in the yard. Sola's children, 3 of them, run around with their cousins. The ranch is thriving. We've expanded to 500 acres. We employ a dozen workers, Apache and white and Mexican, all treated fairly and paid well. In town, the old prejudices have faded. Not completely, never completely, but enough that an Apache woman can walk down the street without fear. Enough that mixed families are accepted, if not celebrated. Enough that the future looks brighter than the past. Anaya leans against me. Do you remember that first night? Every detail. You should have turned us away. I know. Why did you not? I've thought about that question for 20 years. I've never found a perfect answer, but I've found a true one. Because I saw Sola's face and remembered what it felt like to lose a child. Because I was tired of choosing wrong. Because sometimes you don't need a reason to do the right thing. You just need to do it. Anaya takes my hand. You saved us, you know, all of us. Not just our lives, our futures. We saved each other, she smiles. Yes, we did. As the sun sets over the valley, I think about the journey that brought us here. The violence and fear, the courage and sacrifice, the slow building of trust and family and home. I think about Elena and Lily resting on the hill. I like to believe they'd be proud of what I built after they left, that they'd approve of Anaya and the twins and this strange, beautiful family. I think about the 5 women who appeared in my barn so long ago. Wanted criminals, the law called them, murderers, savages. But I know the truth. They were survivors, and they deserved to survive. One of the twins, Elena, calls up to us from the yard. Papa, tell us the story again. Which story? The one about how you and Mama met. I look at Anaya. She nods. So I tell them. I tell them about the winter of 1882, about 5 women and a child who appeared in the snow, about the choice I made, about the battle that followed, about standing together against darkness. I don't leave out the hard parts, the fear, the death, the moments when we nearly failed. They need to know the truth, that good things often come from hard choices. That family is built, not given, that sometimes the people you're supposed to fear are the ones you're meant to love. When I finish, the children are quiet. Then Hope, always the bold one, asks, "Would you do it again, Papa?" Knowing how hard it would be, I don't hesitate. Every single time. Anaya squeezes my hand. The sun disappears behind the mountains. The stars begin to emerge, sharp and bright in the darkening sky. Inside the house, someone starts cooking dinner. The smell of spices and bread drifts out. Children laugh. Life continues. This is what we fought for. Not just survival, not just justice, but this. Ordinary evenings with family, peace, home, and it was worth every bullet, every scar, every moment of fear. because in the end, we didn't just survive, we lived. The end.